Welcome, family. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to Authentically Being Ava. I'm Ava. So, family, I wanted to talk to you guys today. This has pissed me off. I have been dealing with this for the past couple of months, and I am highly annoyed, right? So, check this out, family. So, we all like to order from various places online, right? So, I do like to shop online. And with that, we then have to be alerted about packages that we receive. So I am noticing a big issue here. Like, I've ordered for many years, lived in a house for many years, lived in an apartment as well. But I'm really seeing now how much of a problem it is when you get packages delivered to you in an apartment complex. It is really totally different. You have theft anywhere, so that's already a given. But you know, there is a difference I'm noticing, you know, as opposed to delivering packages to apartments versus single family homes. And I mean, it's really not a difference, but it is a difference. So as far as the couriers are concerned, they have to make sure that the package is like right at the front door, right where their address is. So they have to, back up and take a picture, and they have to have that as proof of delivery, because who's going to know if they delivered it or not, right? So I get that. And it's the same thing for apartments. However, there are all types of apartment complexes. You have high rises, you have garden style apartments. You have some apartments where you can, access them, from the outside. And then you have some where you have to go in the building and go up the elevator. And this is the problem that I'm noticing where, it seems a lot of these couriers are lazy as hell. They would rather, instead of going into the building, getting on the elevator, and going to the actual suite number to deliver a package, they would rather just leave the package on the ground at the front door of the main entrance of the building. And, some of these apartment complexes are like living at Walmart or some, department store. Some of them are pretty huge, and some of them have a lot of traffic coming in and out of that main door. So these couriers are literally leaving people's paid for items on the ground, piled up outside of the main front door. And I think it's insane. It makes no sense. And they will actually take a picture of the item lying there on the ground. They want to back up enough so that they can get the actual number of the building. So it shows, hey, proof of delivery. I'm like, there has to be some type of, extra steps taken by these courier companies, to distinguish a single family home versus an apartment building or an apartment complex. If you see on their address that they have a suite number, then you're not supposed to deliver a package to the main, door of the building. It's just insane, ignorant, dumb, stupid, and most of all, lazy family. It just pisses me off because none of these people would want their items treated that way, but yet, they accept these jobs and they want to get paid for doing these jobs. They're doing a half-assed job, but you can't put all of the blame on the courier. But that actual courier has to take a photograph of the delivered item. And that item, I'm sure, is also seen, by the company where the courier works. Because if something should come into question, they're like, hey, look on the website, there's the picture. So the point I'm making is that they already see that item that's been delivered is not at a person's front door. You see that there is no suite number. If it's an apartment complex and you're delivering an item to, like, say, a high-rise building or a building that has multiple floors, that courier is going to have to enter inside of the building and take a picture of that person's door that has, let's say, apartment 102 or whatever. They're going to have to show that and show the package and show the number on the door. That's proof of delivery, not leaving it at the front of, you know, the main entrance of the building. It's like, how lazy. You know, and like I said, it's the fault of the courier company as well. So just check this out. I've been dealing with this issue for the last 2 months, and I've had it. I've had it. I have lost so many packages because people have been stealing them. I have had one package that I think a part of the property management company where I live, I believe someone saw it and they delivered it themselves. It wasn't delivered by the courier. And you know, when I did see the package was delivered and it was at my door, I just was like, oh, well, finally they're listening to me, because I've been complaining for 2 months that these couriers are doing what the HELL they want to do. So, but when I went online onto the website and looked at the photo that particular courier displayed as proof of delivery, it was in front of the building. It was in front of the main door of the main, but not my apartment building door, but it was the door to the main entrance of the building, which is like what I said, 200, 300, 400 people coming in and out of that door that live in the complex, plus people's guests, animals, you have children, and then you have the staff of the apartment complex. So anybody is liable to snatch the package up. And I just think that is just ridiculous and lazy as hell. And like I said, these companies, these little, I don't know what you call them, mom and pop companies or whatever, they don't give 20 days. This one particular company, I can't even pronounce the name of it, but if you want to know the name of it, just let me know. I will put it, you know what, I'm gonna put it in the comment section. The description of this video, I'm gonna put it in there. I'm gonna put the name of the company, because I'm never gonna do business with them again. You know, I have complained to the actual company that I order from, because you know, they are the ones who are using this particular courier company, and I've complained to them, like I said, for 2 months, and I know I'm not the only one. Okay, no one wants to keep filing a claim for a refund because of the negligence of the courier, you know, because that's all that it is. I mean, we can't prevent theft because people steal from anywhere, but 9 times out of 10, when I have gotten a notification that I have a package, it'll be there when I get home. You know, if it's sitting right there at in front of my door, I'll get that package. But if the package is left in a common area where anybody, you know, can come in and take and snatch, you know, which is what has happened, you know. So I'm just like, wow. So now I got to be Dick Tracy out here trying to figure out what happened to my package, when this lazy troll, and I hate to do that. I mean, because, you know, people these days just don't care. They want to get paid for doing the least. You know, they want to be pissed off if they don't get their check. But you're not delivering your packages and following the proper protocol for your job. You know, each time I call and make complaints to this particular company, I'm getting, oh my God, really? Oh God, give me the tracking number, give me the item, oh my God. You know, I keep getting that. And then when I'm asking about a refund and asking them to change, when are they going to make changes? You know, we're going to have to give you a call back. 24 to 48 hours, we'll give you a call, you know, call back. I haven't heard anything about a refund about anything, you know? So it's like they basically do not care. And the last straw, so there's just one number that I'd gotten from the actual, the online company that's, you know, that hired them to work through them. They gave me their number to call about any issues with packages and the deliveries. So I've been calling them, like I said, for the past 2 months, and I've been speaking to, you know, their representatives, and I'm getting the, oh God, you know, like all of that. We'll make the changes. It won't happen again. Oh, you know, I'm getting that. But look, check this out. This past Friday, I called them back Do you know that number now is totally automated? So nobody answers. This was a regular working day on a Friday during, business hours. Nobody, you can't even dial 0 to get an operator. And so they basically are telling me they don't give 12 damns about my package or if it was delivered properly or not. But yeah, when I dialed the number, it basically said, according to your phone number, your item was delivered with a tracking number. The last 4 digits are blah, blah, blah. Your package has been delivered. Thank you. And that's it. I'm like, wow, like that's it. You don't get a chance to do anything. And so it didn't hang up immediately. But when I went to try to dial 0, because I'm like, I need to get an operator because it's not giving you any options. So I went to try to press 0 and it says, if you want to hear this recording again, please dial 0. I said, what? So it's just a loop. It's just going to loop you back to playing the message all over again. You don't get an opportunity to speak to the operator. Or it doesn't, merge you into, a phone number where you can leave a message and speak to somebody or have somebody call you back or anything, like that. So I just said, wow. So they give no F's. Okay, about my concern. So my thing is this. So you're saying the package was delivered, but how do you know if the package was delivered properly? But I guess that's not the point. The point is they don't give a damn. It's what it is. So I had to get that, understanding. But I do have an email for them, even though they haven't really responded to the email properly. But I'm going to send them one more email and just light them up, because they suck. I sent them a 5 or 6 paragraph letter, which was nice and long, right? And at the end of it, I left my tracking number to this one item that they just delivered, where the courier left the package on the ground in front of the building, right? I literally, look family, I literally was getting ready to go somewhere in the car and got a notification that the package had been delivered. And I said, oh my God. So I said, oh shucks, here we go. So I went running because I was thinking it was, either on the ground in front of the building or it was in a common area on the first floor. So when I went flying up there to the front door, as I got there, a lady got there first and she picked up this package that was sitting on top of this little stand or whatever, and she says, look at this, they just left this here. And it looked like she was going to steal it. She didn't know that somebody was coming up behind her. So I said, really? I said, let me see. And it had my name. I said, oh, that's mine. And they just delivered it and left it. Wow. She's like, wow. And I'm like, did she say, I'm here to visit my aunt? And I was like, yeah. So she doesn't even live here. This person was about to steal my damn package, and this is my point exactly. I'm like, how lazy. I didn't see the actual driver. I saw a box truck, but I didn't even pay any attention, But yeah, so what I was saying was, with that particular order, I left them the tracking number and everything at the last sentence or two in the email, the long email I sent. Do you know they sent me an email back stating, well, we would love to help you, but we don't have any information on which item you're talking about. You would have to leave us a tracking number. And I was like, it's not just the courier that's trash. This whole company is trash. All of the employees. So basically that's telling me that she didn't even read the email at all. Because if you had read it or at least skimmed through it, you would see a series of numbers in the letter, which would let you think, oh, that may be the tracking number. But I pointed out this is a tracking number, and I stated what it was. This non-factor employee tells me we don't have any record. You know what? Like I said, so in that email, I did state, and they probably were pissed off, that I'm going to start working with Amazon exclusively. Because, even though some of their drivers will pull one of these numbers too occasionally, Amazon does hold them accountable. At least it seems that way. They will either refund you immediately, or, you know, send out your package again. And they also on their platform give you an opportunity to post specific instructions that you may want to have the driver utilize, you know. So they seem to care, and I guess maybe that's probably why, you know, they're a billion-dollar company, because they listen, they care, and they make the correct changes to have a successful business, you know, which is, like I said, the opposite of this piece of trash that I was, you know, contacting. So I mean, obviously they're not going to be in business for too much longer, because they could give 12 damns about anything that pertains to your to their customers and clients. It makes no sense to me, family. It makes no sense to me that a person starting a business would go through all of the effort, everything to create, to grow a company, to get all these employees, to do all this stuff. It makes no sense to me for them to do all of that and then to treat the people who are making your company what it is like trash. It makes no sense to do all of that. What is the point? You know, it almost sounds like someone's mentally insane. Like, who does that? Who goes through all of the effort of building a company, getting employees and people to work for you, and hiring, you know, people, and, you know, getting box trucks, and, you know, space for your business, and all of this stuff, all of this, and in the end to treat your clients like trash. If your customers are not getting their packages, what use are you? What are you here for? I mean, what is the point? You know, it's a wasted effort for me and for you. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. Like, do these people need medication? I don't understand why go through all the effort and then you're not even going to do any type of due diligence and follow up behind your team to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do, or following up on these complaints. This is your company's brand. This is your name. Anyway, like I said, I wanted to vent, family, because it was just so annoying to me. I'm going to go to Amazon and deal with them exclusively, so it's no skin off my back. But it's just really sad, and it just makes no sense to go through all the effort only to trash your own company. It just makes no sense to me. And then the employees are going to have to find, you know, eventually find new jobs, because they're not going to have one, because there's going to be no company. It's like, how stupid are you? You don't even want to try to do the right thing by your job to continue to have one. Like, these people crazy, especially in the day and age now that they have robots. You know, robots are coming up. Look, they're about to wipe these people out, and I'm just like, they just don't care. What? I just don't get it. But anyway, family, thank you for listening. Look, if you can relate to this, if you've had this issue, let me know. And if you would like to know the name of the company, let me know, because like I said, look in the description. I'll put it in there. I just wanted to share that. Who wants to be bothered with that, right? Anyway, family, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Take care.